I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tegrity Breakfast, and here we are, just catching up for the old season finale.
Just talking about kitty farts.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I think you should greet everyone with the little mantra you were running before we started here.
Kitty farts, dog wieners.
No, it's titty farts.
I think it's kitty farts.
It's definitely titty farts.
Drop a comment below, let us know. I'm gonna say kitty farts, dog wiener, pubic mound. I'm Steph Sabra.
Well, no, because the meme that was created by the South Park Twitter is definitely titty farts, dog wiener, pubic mound,
This is my arch nemesis, Christian Blatt.
And over here is Heidi herself, Steph Sabralis. I never heard that before, but well, this was obviously the season finale. Can't believe the season's already over.
Yeah. After show's done.
Yeah, which we were pushing for last season with the whole cancel South Park after show movement. And I guess I thought we had 4 more shows, but this was the season finale. What did you think of this episode, Steph?
I thought it was pretty good. Although I love Tegrity Farms, I really do love, I wish I could visit Tegrity Farms. I want them to do kind of like how they have the Simpsons area at Universal.
Yeah.
I want them to have a Tegrity Farms.
Oh my God, there should definitely be a Tegrity Farms.
It would be so awesome. But they haven't, it's not a storyline anymore. So if this season finale means the finale on
I think it's the season finale
I'm okay
of
with
Tegrity
that.
Farms.
I'm okay
I think
with that.
That we're going to get 4 episodes that are more like South Park, and maybe Randy's gonna be in the background, or maybe not at all. I thought there were some really funny moments about it. They always find a good way to do social commentary on stuff that's going on in the headlines right now. There were just definitely a few good laughs.
Yes.
And
callbacks, some great callbacks.
Fantastic callbacks. And look, anybody who watches this show, what's wrong with you? But in addition to that, anybody who watches this show knows that we are # Team Randy.
Oh my gosh, yes. And Randy is actually included in my news and gossip, which will come after our breakdown.
I forgot we even did that segment.
Yeah,
So,
I know you forget a lot of things I do.
Well, I forget you. Every time that we do the show, it's like, hi, nice to meet you. You're like, no, we've been doing this for 3 seasons now. And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I would remember this. But in any case, I thought that probably for me the most exciting part was, this is the first time all season we saw Mr. Garrison. And I think that they used him perfectly.
Yes.
Trying to help Randy out of his situation, which we'll get into when we kind of map out the episode. So that was probably the high point for me, was that we got to see him. What did you think about the whites? Because I'm personally tired of the whites, always complaining about no one paying attention to the whites. They're clearly very supportive of Randy's cause. But, the little girl made the point, it's really hard to be a white,
I'm sure.
So you think, are you glad that South Park has addressed just how hard it is to be a white?
Absolutely. I thought that the play on the whites was really a funny social commentary piece, because even when the white kid, the white little boy,
Jason White,
killed by a cop.
He has a name, Steph.
Jason White, he has a name, whatever. He got hit by a cop car, and they're saying a cop killed him and no one cares. And it's so funny, because that is the hypocrisy of, I've heard people being like, well, whites get killed by cops. And I'm like, I like that they used it being a full accident.
Absolutely.
Nothing of it was racially charged. It was completely just an accident. So I thought that was funny. And the audacity of them to just go to an ICE facility and pick up a poor little kid.
And who puts the idea in their head? None other than Eric Cartman, who's like, I know how to make you feel better. I was at a place. And I thought it was very funny that, of course, in the way that, yes, it's very sad because it's a reflection of... But yeah, it is sad because of the reality of it, but that they go and it's just like a dog kennel. And, the way that they're describing them, oh, yeah, this is a Peruvian hairless, and, oh, we can let him run around a little bit, come on. And I love that everything that Alejandro said, which for the first, I'd say half of the episode, everything he said was, donde está mi familia?
I know.
And what everybody said back to him, no matter what he said, was I think muy bien.
E2. Gracias, E2.
Yes, right. Gracias. Yes, thank you. And you? Just everything he said, and I thought it was very funny, and it was like he's a white now, but he didn't know how to behave like a white, and I thought that was the smart part of the episode. It was still funny, but I thought that was I thought that was pretty great. As Randy is off, answering for his crimes throughout the season, which I thought was nice. They mapped him out very early. They show a video of him before he blows up the home grow area. He relieves himself, both number 1 and number 2, because that's Randy. He's thorough. And I thought that, so we see that. We see, well, we don't see, but they talk about him, killing the cows and making deals with China. And really, this had been 6 weeks of, Randy just kind of doing whatever he wanted, throwing parades for himself. And crimes he needed to answer for. What did you think of the reaction by the rest of his family?
Oh my gosh, so good. Especially Shelley. For how long?
Yeah, and Stan too. Yeah, and then even Sharon was like, yeah, well, we can be hopeful. And then when later we see that, they're basically having a party. People, it's like, oh,
it's like a potluck. No one
families,
cares about the dead kid.
Yeah, other families have brought stuff over. And it's like, well, we took down all the marijuana, all the marijuana pictures because it reminded us of Randy, which is also why we took down the pictures of Randy.
So quickly he could just be forgotten.
Yeah, because you always get the sense that Randy's family has had enough of him. I mean, any season. But I think this year in particular, it was just like why are we out here?
Well, Shelley has a weed problem. So yes. That's the source.
That is the source, absolutely. And I think that, they were just so happy. And that's when I'm like, okay, well, he's definitely not going to go to jail because they would be so much better off if Randy went away.
For a second, I was like, are we going to have a Randy in jail season?
That would have been great.
I would have been down with that.
Yeah.
Could have been a really good, also social commentary on the prison system.
Yeah, but we didn't get that. Also, would anybody have
hashtag free Randy.
Hashtag free Randy. Would anybody have visited him?
I would have.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I mean, tempt him with the devil's lettuce.
I didn't. Well, you'd have to get it in the same way Rudy Giuliani did.
Oh my gosh, Rudy Giuliani.
The Rudy Giuliani caricature I thought was very funny.
What they call him, a treasonous rat?
Yeah. But that brings us back to Mr. Garrison, who it just explains how easy it is. It's like, oh, you have all these allegations. And he calls it DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim offender. So,
incredible.
And we see Randy try that when he's basically seeing the prison doctor and he hasn't had any marijuana. So he's, let's see, what does he say? He says that he's feeling very sick. He's been questioning the things he's done and whether he's been a bad father, and he just needs some medical marijuana. And he tries to use the DARVO method on the doctor, who just says that's not going to work. You're not the president. So I thought that stuff was all very funny.
It's so funny, and how they tied up his whole storyline with them saying nothing you do could ever be as worse as what the president has done and what the president has gone away with. And it will never not surprise me, the things he said and done that we just brush over because he is the master at, what is it, DARVO?
DARVO.
Of DARVO.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that, Randy is the perfect person to learn from the master. Mm-hmm. And I thought that, Rudy Giuliani visiting him in jail and just, Randy didn't even really end up taking his help, because when he's testifying, he goes through the whole thing about how he's like, oh, I can't do this. And, he talks, but what he really does that I think, basically he talks up Tegrity Weed and how it's about community. And I'd forgotten I have a loving wife and a son. He's like, I'll do the time because when you do the right thing, good things happen. And that's when you're like, oh, he's totally getting off. And, everybody that was holding the hearing at the beginning of the episode, you're just like, How did he win them over? Is it just because he's Randy?
Yes. Absolutely.
Because Randy can do
anything.
anything.
And because of Mexican Joker, our dear friend.
Yes, which I thought was very funny how they were able to turn Alejandro into Mexican Joker.
I know.
Because he wouldn't put on his sunscreen, which I don't think it's racially insensitive to point out that he didn't have the sunscreen on because he didn't need it. He's not an actual white. So I thought it was very funny that we get Mexican Joker, not just, well, initially he's just beating up cars with a bat, and then he's got a Molotov cocktail. And I think that might be what got Randy off. Do you think it was his speech or the fact that there was proof that Mexican Joker was real?
I think it was a mixture. I think anything to deflect off real, we will always pounce on a race issue as opposed to a current issue.
Yeah. Let's, one final thought on Alejandro. When the white parents are feeling like he's not being very compliant to their rules and disrespectful, they go and get him something little to take care of, which is another kid from the detention facility. What did you think about going back to the well of basically the same joke as before?
I loved it. I thought it was funny. I thought that this episode had a lot of good moving parts. It wasn't the funniest written episode, but
No.
I think it was really clever.
Yeah, I think that if you look at these first 6 episodes as basically being one story, and then the rest of the season will be, I would assume
Whatever they
something
want.
different. Yeah. I think there'll probably be a story that weaves through the rest of it. But I think that this doesn't stand out. I mean, I think the China episode is still the best.
Yeah, I
mostly
agree.
because Randy murders Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it was outrageous.
And 300 cows. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But we haven't forgotten that we're supposed to do our Impossible or Beyond
Or
Meat taste test.
BK, yes.
Yeah, but we've been doing the show at a kind
We'll
of...
do it for the series premiere.
the
season
the
premiere.
actual season finale.
Well,
you
this
want the
was the
season-
season finale, so
But they were
I
selling
am
the season
assuming
finale.
the next episode is
Is
the
a season premiere. Okay. That was easy to follow. Thank you.
No problem.
So
I am.
Are there any, before we move on to
Joker.
news and gossip, yes, you're definitely the Joker. Do you have any final thoughts on the episode before we move on to news/gossip?
No, I like the episode. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
good.
my favorite, and
yeah.
I'm glad that we're moving on storylines.
Yeah, I was really enjoying, I'd say, the first few weeks. Tegrity Farms, I loved the open. I liked how much time we were spending there. But it's such a rich town full of so many characters that, we had little detours like into, the Goo Man and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would think I'd like some more of that. And who knows, maybe those are stories that will be tied up independently of Randy. All right, so what is the news and gossip this week, Steph?
This week is more gossipy. I
Tell
read a
me
really
more.
interesting article because if you've noticed from this, it was saying that South Park is following in the steps of The Simpsons. So at the beginning of The Simpsons' inception, it was...
So wait, it's going to go on 10 seasons too long?
No,
Oh,
it was
okay.
following the entire family.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it switched to focusing on Homer and the family trickled in it wherever they could in the episodes, but they were saying that what they're doing with South Park now is that for so many seasons we focus on the 4 kids. Now we're really honing in on Randy as it opens up an entire world as opposed to just the elementary school, which they've done a good job of having the kids go out of the school. So it was kind of an interesting piece, and I'll post it in the comments below, of where they believe the direction of South Park will go. And I think it's a unique point to bring up, and I think that might be it.
Well, the interesting thing is I remember years ago Trey and Matt saying that, the way that they look at the show as it was evolving, and this was maybe like 5 or 6 seasons in, so this was a long time ago, 15 years ago, that they thought it would be kind of cool if at one point the show evolved to a way where people would say, hey, remember how that show used to be about those 4 kids in elementary school? And that it was just about so much more than that, I think it's, and if you look at the earliest episodes, it's, it was literally formulaic. You had the catchphrases you had to get into every episode. Kenny died in every episode.
And that was the same with with
the Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
It was don't have a cow, eat my shorts,
Yeah.
things like that to get
Yeah, and I mean the early seasons of The Simpsons, Homer was this angry dad, and then they settled into a sweet spot where he's just dumb, and that makes him more lovable instead of like, I mean, he used to choke Bart every episode, and to think about that now, it's just like, I mean, it's a cartoon, so you can do whatever you want, but still, it's funny to think about. And I would say, yeah, I mean, the show has changed. Who would have thought? And by the way, he was not in this episode, but who would have thought that a towel that likes to get high would be one of our favorite characters?
Iconic.
Yeah,
You're a towel.
You're a towel.
You're acting like a real towel today.
That's
I can't
true.
stand.
Well, everybody who's in the chat, you're a bunch of towels. And yeah, I know the episode's not here on this link. Oh, I almost feel bad for you.
But since you're already here, we would love if you hit that like button, leave us a comment. Talk your talk, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear it. We want to keep the conversation going. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us those 5 stars, leave us a review. And we just want to thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk.
Yeah, 4 stars are just for towels. All right, we need 5 stars.
If you want to be Randy level,
look,
5 stars.
if you want to have integrity, you leave 5 stars.
Agreed.
Well, Steph, it was called season finale. They referred to season finale a few times, but every indication is we'll be back next week, right? Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What do we have in the next few weeks? We have Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah, and when they had the Thanksgiving special of, the actual Thanksgiving special from Tegrity Farms, that's when I started to think, like, wait, is this really the season finale? But there are not a lot of Thanksgiving episodes. I think seasons 1 and 2 are the only Thanksgiving episodes.
Yeah, there's so much they can do with it.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Let's bring back Starvin' Marvin. Come on.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's one of top 10 episodes.
It's kind of sad to think about, though, but
it's ridiculous.
Starvin' Marvin's probably dead, so that's probably why he can't come back.
Okay.
Anyway, on that note.
Okay.
Did I bum you out?
Yep.
Well, that's all right. If he'd stuck around, Cartman would have
Eaten
inadvertently. Whoa, yikes! I was gonna say inadvertently killed him playing football, but eaten him. You're probably right. Well, Steph, that's all the time we have for now. We've said it all. But if people want to keep in touch with you, which I don't know why they would, but if they did want to keep in touch with you,
I know you don't. I am the Heidi of this establishment.
Absolutely.
I'm Steph Sabra. You can follow me and talk to me at Steph Sabra on Instagram and Twitter.
And if you are smart enough to want to keep in touch with me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. And over on the Popcorn Talk Network, you can find me Thursdays at 1 Pacific as one of the hosts of Marvel Movie News, where we talk about Marvel, movie, and news. Anyway, that's all we have now. But until next time, stay Tegrity.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.